Hey, hello people. Act 2 the podcast, episode 62. We are back. It's your boy International Walk.
And it's your girl Tosh, the co-hostess with the mostest.
Yes, the co-hostess with the mostest. We back. Act 2 the podcast.
Why you gotta say my name?
What?
Yes, the co-hostess with the mostest.
That's
yeah, it's your boy International Walk.
Act 2 the podcast, episode 62. We back. How y'all doing out there? Appreciate y'all. Hope y'all doing good out there. Hope y'all family's doing good. We good. She dipped it in orange slices. Like, damn, you're not supposed to be in the camera on that.
I wanted to have some flavor in my mouth.
Some saliva. Mm-hmm. What if you have to talk?
I was gonna let you go through the spiel. You're making me talk.
We are back here for another week. Hope y'all enjoyed last week's episode. We enjoyed doing it. What's up?
Where can they find this at?
Oh shit, yeah. Y'all can find us on act2thepodcast.com, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, TikTok, Anchor, Breaker.
Woo-hoo! You did it!
I remember
that was a bad... Come on, give me...
That was a bad high five, but I remembered all 10. That's what's up. Yeah.
Yeah, you did good. I'm proud of you.
That's cool.
Yeah,
For y'all didn't catch that, that's act2thepodcast.com. That's Facebook. That's Instagram. That's YouTube. That's TikTok. That's Breaker. That's Anchor. That's Google Podcasts. That's Radio Public. That's Spotify. And...
Breaker?
No, I already said
TikTok?
Breaker. No.
I don't know. I don't know why you had to do it again. You did it right the first time.
So I wanted to do it again in case they missed it.
I wasn't following along that time, so I don't know.
How do you not following along?
Because I was wondering, why is he saying it again?
The fuck is wrong with you not following along? How are you?
I'm doing well today.
No. How are you?
I'm good. Today I'm an 8. I'm an 8.
What's an 8?
My mind. My overall, I'm an 8. And I'm going to tell you why I'm an 8.
But I didn't ask you what was an 8, though. You got to wait for the breakdown. You just don't know what I'm going into. You got to relax. Get some drink champs up in you. How are you? What's your mental status?
Right now, I'm angry because I'm ready to chop you. It's like I'm not angry. I'm good, babe. I'm good. I'm doing well.
What's your mental status?
I'm an 8. Mentally, I'm an 8. I feel good. I feel a little tired. You know, I always thought people be like, just talking because they got lips when they talk about their hour change. But I think this is the first time in my adult life that I can really recall me feeling like a little, having to shake it off a little bit. Now, that may also be compounded with your new work schedule and us, you know, having to get up a little earlier. But overall, I'm an 8. I'm feeling good.
Okay. What's your work like?
Work is an 8.
Sound like a 6, but
that's because you be in my workspace. It's busy. It's a lot, but you know what? I'm not gonna complain. A 6 sounds kind of bad, and it's not bad. It's just busy.
Or it's above average 6.
But what's average? I mean,
well, you gotta look at the numbers like they were letter grades.
I think an 8 is okay. I'm good. I'm gonna give it like a 7.75, but we round that up. That's an 8.
The finances.
My you got me talking like you. My finances are a 9. No complaints there.
Okay.
Thank God.
Okay.
How about you?
How
are you?
How
are you?
I'm gentle.
You're gentle.
Yeah, I'm good. I feel good. Again, no pain. I'm good.
That's very descriptive. I feel gentle.
Yeah, I feel gentle. At peace.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. So, yeah, I feel good. What's wrong with being gentle?
No, it's just a weird description to hear somebody, with somebody saying, how do you feel? I feel gentle.
I'm a gentle, violent man.
That's good. Yeah, okay. I like that. I like your ability or your fearlessness to be vulnerable. That I admire about you as a man.
Appreciate that.
How's your mental?
Nueve.
Oh, that's good. You've been practicing your Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. 9 for those who may not be fluent in Espanol.
And for those other people, neener.
I don't think that's a real word.
What, neener?
Yeah.
Yeah, neener is a word.
In what language? All right, so your mental's a 9. That's good. care to elaborate, or just you flat out you good at a 9?
No, my mental's 9. I'm good. I feel good. My mental's good. I'm not stressed about nothing. I feel great.
That's good. What is your work life like?
Work life is it sucks. It's like, I'm thankful I have a job. I'm thankful God has blessed me with the opportunity to make a living the way I do, make the money that I make. But I don't like where I'm at. Not at all. Not a little bit.
Is it because of the distance, or just you really don't like the site?
It's the distance.
Okay.
I just don't. I think it's going to be a nice looking job. It's going to be a good looking job, but I don't like where I'm at.
You always do a good job. I can say that. Yeah. I've been very proud of seeing your work over the years. Don't like that.
Finances is nueve. This is Nina.
Who told you I was supposed to say? See, you jumping the gun. Don't be so fast. How's your finances?
Nueve. So we did that twice.
Yeah.
No, we got that straight. Wows and woes.
I'm just gonna say, you know what, my wow for the week is the sunshine that we've been having this week. That's, I'm one of those people who, I don't like to self-diagnose, but when people we talked about seasonal, well, you did an episode about seasonal affective disorder.
Sad.
Yeah, but we know there are some people who are really impacted. And I'm not going to diagnose myself, but I am not a fan of the winter, the cold, dark, dreary days. I mean, some people do like the winter, but blah. So the sunshine was just my wow. Just God shining down, kissing my cheeks with the sunshine. It ain't been warm, but just seeing the sun and it being a little nicer has been a wild moment for me.
I always have a negative connotation in my head about the sunshine because I correlate that with it being hot. But the sun do feel good, and the sunshine feels great on you when you like went through a winter.
Yeah.
And it's cold, and like a day like today where it's like 70 something degrees, it just feels like, damn, like I can't wait for this weather to get back to like nice air where you can come outside and get long days. But when that 90 and that 100 come,
see, I like the heat. I like the heat.
Good.
Yeah.
When that shit is sweltering, when you go outside at 5, well, I gotta go outside that early, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's 90 already. Nah.
But you go from an air conditioned home to an air conditioned car.
But that little walk in between, brutal.
That's why I have on his shirt that says bougie, because this should say Mr. Bougie, because that's him. And I think that's it for me. Like, I like the heat because we can control our exposure to it. Air conditioned home, air conditioned car.
Why you don't feel that way about the cold?
Because of the cold, just like being
there's heat in the car, there's heat in the house.
What I'm saying is when I do have to be out in the heat, transitioning from those places, I don't mind feeling the heat. If you're dressed appropriately, it's not like you got on sweaters and it's hot. But if you're dressed appropriately, to me, the sun feels good on your skin. The cold does not feel good in any capacity to me.
No. Cool weather feels good, but not the cold.
Yeah.
But fall weather it's great.
Yeah.
Like after a summer, that's the best when you get the crisp air. It's time for jeans and a hoodie. That's the best.
I like a hoodie, yeah. But so that was my wow, just feeling the sunshine.
Oh shit. What's your wow?
My wow, I'ma just say, just continuing to pray for my baby, Toya, who lost, her aunt. And grief is one of those things that, okay, this is slightly unrelated, but I read something today that talked about divorce, and it talked about how divorce is the mental process that you go through with divorce is the same that you go through with grief when you lose someone, because essentially you are losing someone in divorce. So it just made me think about those stages of grief, and I don't know them all in order, but the anger, the denial, the trying to rationale and all of that,
reconcile,
yeah, and it's
acceptance,
right, and it's one of those things that it's hard, and you don't always know the right thing to say, but it's just one of those things where you just pray for people that it gets easier. It will never be easy, but that the pain will just ease up little by little. I know you with losing your nana, we're almost 6 months past that, and you still will have a moment, depending on the conversation, or if something comes up, you reflect on her, and it will bring you to tears. And for Toya, it's very early in the process. It's just been a month. So just continue, just knowing that she's going through that. And again, like we said before, none of our families, we really experienced that kind of loss. So I love you, boo.
I think for somebody who lose somebody like that, shouts out to your friend. Somebody who lose somebody.
Wait, can I tell you something too?
What?
It made me feel good, like, when you asked about it the other day, and I appreciate that, you caring about who I care about.
No, ain't no problem. No, I'm just saying, I didn't know. You caught me off guard with that.
It's just,
but it ain't no problem. Because I just experienced that, and I know what that feels like, especially if you really, really love somebody. But I don't think you'll never be the same again. And everybody handle it different. So I don't know in what small increment or big increment, but as close as she was to her, talking to her all the many times a day, like, she ain't gonna be the same again, because it's a void that's missing. And I'm sure she'll learn some coping skills to get through her days, to keep on with life. But she ain't never gonna be the same again when you that close to somebody like you say she is.
Yeah, and it makes me think, like,
Oh, and not to cut you off, sometimes when you don't have nothing to say, a silence is better, because you can always put your foot in your mouth and say the wrong thing, or say something somebody don't want to hear. But your presence, just letting them know, hey, how you doing? Want to talk? No? Okay, cool. But just letting them know you there is better than trying to figure something out to say, because obviously if you're trying to manufacture up something to say, it ain't the right thing.
Yeah, and the typical, and I want to say in Black America, because I've never been to a funeral for a white person, but that whole rhetoric that they say in church, like, oh, she's in a better place now,
people don't want to hear that shit.
Or people say, like, we know God needed them, like. When I think about that, like a mother passing away and she got young children, like, how you gonna tell these kids God needed your mom more than you need him? And y'all know my faith, my beliefs, so I'm not. This has nothing to do with
told
God.
To everybody.
This has something to do with the rhetoric that they say, and it's like, I wish somebody would pull the coattails of the pastors and ministers around the world and be like, stop that whole language. Like, I get the message you're trying to convey, but because in those moments, I don't want to hear like, God needed my mom, God needed my child, God needed my aunt. Like, I don't want to hear that at that moment. No. So that was
that you might not even be a religious person and you're being told that. So it's like, or you might be in that stage of grief where you're angry. And it's just the last thing you want to hear is, it's going to be all right, it's going to get better. Like, you just don't want to hear that. But, looking at experiences like guys like Tony Baker, like he was saying, like, I wanted people just to be around, like, just so, if I needed them, I could call them, but you didn't have to be in my face, you know what I'm saying? But just be around, be available for me.
And it's the last thing I'm gonna say is, it's even more scary. It makes me think, like, and I don't want to say no names or who they are in my life, but I know somebody who lost, in a matter of 9 months, a brother. 5 months later, their mother, and then May, June, July, August. 4 months later, their sister. And it's like, you feel like what? How does a person recover? Ever?
You don't. That's the thing.
I mean, but I know you're like you say, you'll never be the same. But just how do you get to the next day? Like, that is just, and it just makes it pulls at my heartstrings, because people still got to go to work. They still have to assume some sense of normalcy. But really, you're never normal.
That's the thing. In experiencing my grandmother passing, it was like, okay, the next day it was like, Nana's still dead, but gotta go to work. And the next day I thought about it. I think I thought about it for like a week, and it's just like, it makes you sit back and think, when you're in your quiet time, like, damn, this shit doesn't stop for anybody. It doesn't. And it brought tears in my eyes, because it made me think, like, what if something happened to you or me? And it's like, damn, like, you're going to feel hurt, you're going to feel grief, but the sun comes up the next day, and you can stay in the house for a month, for 6 months, but you can't not, like, this shit just keeps going. It doesn't wait for anybody, no matter how hurt you are, no matter what family you are, no matter how important you are to society. it doesn't wait. The next day starts again. And like double dutch, it's constantly spinning, and maybe you out this round, but somewhere down the line, you gotta jump back in there.
That was a great analogy.
Somewhere down the line.
Yeah. All right. What was your wilds and woes for this week? What you want to start with?
My wilds was just the way that God keeps working in my life. I ran into a guy outside, and I usually don't speak about things like this, but I ran into a guy outside of Wawa who asked me for some change when I was going in there. And coming outside, I just felt it on my heart to talk to him for like 2 minutes, and then I gave him some money. And I was just not proud of me, because that is who I am, but just proud of the interaction. Yeah, just proud of the interaction. He seemed like he was receptive. He seemed like he was encouraged. And yeah, I hope I made his day.
That's awesome. You just made my day by saying that.
Yeah. So that's my wow. My woe is just, traveling where I'm traveling to for work. Leaving at 4:00 in the morning, which means I'm up at 3:30.
Which means I'm up at like 3:40.
Every day, not like a couple days a week. Every day, and it's that's my woe.
But you know what? I wouldn't want it any other. I don't care how early you gotta get up. I'm never gonna let you go out the house without seeing your face, without us praying, without kissing you, without telling you I love you. And I don't want you going out into the world hungry. Like, I'm going to make sure you have breakfast. I'm going to make sure you have lunch. And I get to go back to bed. But no matter how early you got to go, like, I can't. Even when we're at our maddest, like, we may not say much to each other. But you have had a moment where you left without saying something to me. And I can say in 20 years, it may have been 3 times. And I checked you. Mm-hmm. Don't let that happen again, because I don't care what goes on. Like, I need to know. And the way my anxiety, I'll be like, oh my God, what if this happened? Like, this was the last thing we said to each other. Or we didn't say anything to each other.
Then why you say that to me?
Why I say what?
Anything.
I'm just saying, we, 99.999% of the time, we make sure we pray, we give each other a kiss, we give each other a hug, even if it's just a pat on the back.
That's why I love, one of the reasons why I love you so much. And that was just like a light flex. You let me flex. And you ain't even let me know that you was letting me flex. The people didn't even catch that. But, she get up every morning and make me some breakfast and make me lunch and send me out the house. And she has our entire relationship. And I know a lot of dudes that I work with, a lot of men, and they don't get that. Dudes be hungry as shit in the morning. Dudes be hungry at lunch. Dudes be eating Wawa, mac and beef. And I don't be eating that. I be eating good. And I appreciate sometimes when I'm eating my lunch, I'll be like, damn, this is good. I ain't gotta eat no mac and beef. So I appreciate you.
I'm happy. I wouldn't have it any other way. I take my job seriously. My job to take care of you seriously.
And it does make me feel uneasy, those moments where I'm pissed off at you and mad at you. And it's like feast or famine. So sometimes it's like I don't even want to talk to you, and that's not right. Or sometimes I'm like talking in my head while you making my breakfast and lunch. Like, yeah, you better get that stuff together.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. You mad all you want. You better get that shit together.
Oh, really?
What? It's really my truth say.
And I have to say, we have not had moments where we've been mad at each other. Like, those moments are few and far between. But next time you piss me off, guess who ain't getting up? When it's time for you to go, I'ma holler down the step. Drive safe.
No, you're not. I'll drag you by your ankle out your bed.
Nope. But, yeah. And sometimes I be thinking to myself, slap this sandwich together, wrap it up.
I could tell, too. I could tell. And this week I had too much lettuce. So
no, this week, no, I mean, like, when you mad at me.
No, I'm talking about this week. Well, we not mad. You just had too much lettuce.
Too much lettuce?
Yeah.
Because I've been using 2 leaves of lettuce instead of 1. Oh, okay.
All right, I
I'll
ain't no
make
rabbit.
sure. Let me tell you, he is such a plain Jane or a plain John eater. No mayonnaise or mustard on his sandwich, no cheese. He just eat bread, turkey, and lettuce. And ladies, I know y'all probably thinking that is so crazy, but I got this down to a science. Like, I don't care what time he has to leave. I'm done in 10 minutes. Actually, probably less than that. You know I'm right.
This is fucking why I go to work and I got 3 slices of bread on a sandwich, or I got fucking lettuce this thick.
I be half sleep sometimes, but not always. But let me tell you, I make him a sandwich. He gets
So why you make me a Whopper one morning with the 3rd slice of bread?
That was a mistake. He gets a sandwich, apple juice, water, give him a little fruit, maybe like some orange or some grapes or something, yogurt,
no
granola
bullshit.
bar.
You made a club sandwich one morning. Like, why?
It was
How was it a mistake?
I probably was making it.
You made a sandwich on top of a sandwich.
I probably forgot that I had did it.
You put more meat on top of the sandwich with lettuce and another piece of bread.
Some mornings I be sleepwalking. Like, some mornings I be sleepwalking. Like, okay.
Oh my God. And you use a knife. Like, you gotta be fucking careful.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Every morning. But yeah, to make him a little oatmeal coffee, he'd be good to go. I can say you're pretty easy to take care of. It ain't like I'm up making bacon and eggs, but sometimes I do ask him, like, you ever want a breakfast sandwich sometimes instead of an oatmeal? And he'd be like, nah, I'm cool with my little oatmeal cup.
Yeah, because I mean, I appreciate you breaking your sleep and getting up and doing that for me. I don't want you up cooking, like,
I've been and burnt myself like I did tonight.
I mean, you up cooking. I don't want you to do that. It is. I mean, I appreciate you getting up, but it is 3:30. It is 3:45. It's like, motherfuckers should be asleep. I should be fucking asleep. So,
But I get to go back to sleep for 3.5 hours until I have to work. Because I don't really start work till like 8:30. And I work in the house. And literally, I get up, I brush my teeth. I hope nobody from my job don't watch this. But sometimes I start working. Throw my robe on and throw a nightgown on. But I get up, brush my teeth, wash my face, and start my day. So
my thing is driving. Like, I hate driving far distances, and that's the thing. The last thing I want to do in the morning is drive. So I can be half sleep and take an hour to wake up, but the fact that I have to drive, that shit, like, okay, wake up, like, quick, because you get out there and it's like, all right, I gotta pay attention to everything, man. Mm-hmm. Like, that shit wakes you up.
And then where we live now, like, so much woods and dark. Stuff. I be thinking animals will pop out.
I'm about to say, I don't know when an animal popping out. It's dark. I don't know when the cops is coming. It's like, I gotta pay attention, and that shit hurts. Like, I don't know what it is, but it hurts trying to wake up that fast.
Yeah.
Kanye doc.
Oh yeah.
New Kanye doc we watched was 3 episodes. I don't think we talked about one episode how it was super good, but we saw the next 2 episodes and it was like dynamically good. So people out there, if you have not seen it, suggest you watch it. If you like Kanye, if you don't, probably want to watch it too. So you probably can hate, but it was super, super, super dope. Really, really done well. The footage was awesome. Shot by his best friend Cootie.
Is that his best friend?
Or one of his friends. Let me just say one of his childhood friends, Cootie. At the time, in the beginning, when he was shooting it,
they were cool. Yeah.
But I got some questions about the doc.
Wait, can I just say this really quickly? You know how we talked about how Kanye's mom, she used his name and like, you're so great, Kanye. And so I tried that on my sister. She was like, why do you keep saying my name? I said, because I just want to feed that greatness into you. Like, you're awesome, Sierra. She's like, don't do that to me. So it didn't work.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Got some questions. So people out there who haven't seen it, go watch it. It's on Netflix. It's called JY-NYES.
It's JEEN-YUHS. So it's like the phonetic spelling of genius.
His phonetic spelling. I don't think it is the phonetic spelling though.
But what would be the phonetic spelling of genius?
I don't know.
JY-NYES.
But I think he makes that like Yeezus. So I think that's a play on that. I'm not going to say on camera that is the phonetic spelling.
It looks
It
like
may
it.
be. It can be. The way he did it, it's the phonetic language.
It looks like it.
But it looks
But you're
like
right.
it. But it might be a play off his Yeezus genius. So I don't know.
Okay.
But it's set up in the phonetic and the spelling.
JEN-YUHS.
Genius or no?
Definitely a musical genius. He's one of those people that, and I don't want to say this in any derogatory way. I don't know if this is a politically correct word, but I'm going to just say it anyway, like a savant. Like, it makes me think, and I don't know if he's, I think autism is one of those disorders that has been thrown out there and been oversaturated. And I don't know if it's always applicable. So I don't want to say he's on the spectrum, but I know of some people who have like these musical capabilities, and they may have never taken a lesson or anything like that, but they are just
the Michael Jacksons, the Princes, the people
yeah,
who
so
play
musically
27 instruments
inclined.
and never been to music school.
And he's one of those people. I heard about Kanye years ago that like he sees music in color,
Right.
But he's one of those people where music is just his thing. Like in music in every element. Like you ever hear people like word association? Like it's almost like you can say any word to him, and like one word, and he can create a rhyme. Or like you can give him any 4-note beat. And for those musicians, I am a musician as well. I played the piano for 8 years of my life, so 4 notes.
Okay.
You can give him 4 notes and he can create a masterpiece. If you like a random 4 notes, and he can use those 4 notes, and so when you say genius, I do think that he definitely is a genius. His musical abilities are they're just exemplary.
And it's the same because I heard on a previous documentary where he does see music in colors, and it's the same. Like snares are red, and what's the other part that goes with the drums, the vocals he see is green. Like, so I think he sees every thought. That's why it's so misplaced. Because
I think that's a different conversation.
For him, even with the music, I know he see that in color, but even with the genius stuff and having so many random thoughts is because I think his brain, like, it's like our brain, we thinking about something and we can't see it that fast, but I think his brain snapshots the picture of what he is thinking. Not necessarily the words come out and he's articulate at it because he sees the picture and he knows what he wants to say, but the articulation isn't always there.
I think it's a chemical imbalance that also causes him to do that. I think it's socially how can I say it's socially triggered and chemically triggered. I think, in watching the documentary, I said this about myself. I feel that I am becoming more of an empath as I get older. And there were some parts in that where my heart really broke for him when you see how people really shaded him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then it's so weird because it's like the Kanye that we see and we think we know that he gives us today, and seeing who he was at that time, it's like it's weird to see him being treated in that way. So that there has been, and not in a negative connotation, there has been some brain evolution that happens to all of us, but that has happened in a major way to him.
That trauma of being rejected like that, it did something to his brain. Like you said, it made a chemical imbalance. You talking about a chip on your shoulder? Like, some people eventually put the chip down. Like, this dude, and can you have too much confidence?
Yes.
Like, is it? Because I think when you have an enormous amount of confidence, people just label it arrogant. I don't think it's you intentionally being arrogant. I just think it's you having confidence in yourself and promoting and pushing yourself. I think it's the people who that energy is pressed upon start to say he's arrogant because they're probably tired of fucking you putting yourself out there or putting yourself on them.
I think
I don't think you wake up with this arrogant mindset of, I'm going to agitate people. I'm going to be fucking.
So I think he overcompensates with his confidence because of the way that he was treated into, it's almost like he's forcing himself to be this person that's his form of aggression. So he's using his confidence sort of like the aggressor, like y'all never gonna treat me like that again. Now I don't think that the rejection caused the chemical imbalance. Just my personal opinion. I think there was already something there, and it has just manifested itself just because of life, because of stressors. We talked about the death, the loss of his mother. I am convinced had a huge impact on him. But I think the confidence is magnified as like his shield, his defense. So can you be too confident? I don't think you can necessarily be too.
If he's the bar, can you be too confident?
I don't,
because I've never seen anybody as confident as him, to be honest with you. I've thought about it since I've seen the documentary. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody, entertainer or met, that was more confident than him.
See, I don't think you can be too confident, but I think where the confidence starts to appear as arrogance is when you don't have some humility there. Like, I think you can, and that's what people have to learn, that being humble doesn't mean you have to decrease, you have to lessen yourself or decrease your or dim your light. I think we all need to have some sense of humility with our confidence as well, some sense of modesty. But again, it doesn't mean you have to shrink yourself to be humble or to be modest. You can have all the confidence in the world, and it's sometimes also, I think, confidence unspoken speaks louder than the confidence that you're always shouting.
Okay, but what if you actually are the best at something? Like, specifically, if we're talking about him, and if, okay, I'm acknowledging that if it's quiet, it can speak louder. But what's wrong with bigging yourself up if you've been shitted on, if you've been looked over, if you've been passed upon, and you kind of put it out there yourself, and it worked, and now everybody wants you. So now it's like, okay, I told y'all that I'm better than everybody.
So again, I'm not saying anything is wrong with it, but I think, again, your skills will speak for themselves. Your music will show for itself. And not to say that it's wrong, but at some point, people are going to tune you out, and your loudness is going to overshadow your actual craft, your actual gift that you have to present to people, because it's like, come on, I'm tired of hearing that. So even if what you are presenting or what you are creating is truly amazing, you could be doing yourself a disservice by turning people off with the arrogance. And again, I think he does that as his defense mechanism, almost like a weapon. Like, you never gonna treat me like that again, so I'm gonna use this. Like, he bullies people, and I was about to say, that. I don't want to use. He uses his confidence in the same way that a bully uses their meanness and stuff towards people. So I don't want to say he bullies people, but that's how he uses his confidence as like his form of aggression. Because he's not a street dude, so he can't go with no gangster shit. He ain't coming. He ain't coming in there like he was death row. Yeah, he ain't about to shoot Suge Knight. Yeah, that's not about to happen. But I'm just saying, like, so is it something to say for being looked over? Like, when you're a person that's looked over, half the time you could be like, damn, you feel like you lost your confidence, you may never get it back, and you go into a shell of yourself, and you go downward, and then you go him, and it's like, okay, if you watch this documentary, you can physically see, like, okay, they're shunning him, they don't believe in him, they think he's just the dude with the beats, and he actually showed them that, y'all should have listened to me. So is all that, I thought, in my opinion, was because he knew he had the rhymes, but because the people shitted on him, because people he thought cared about him and people he was working with looked past him. So I'm going to knock you off your socks with this one. Okay. Let's think about your guy, Tom Brady. Okay. I know he likes when I use sports because he think that I don't be this better be a good analogy with his world, but just because I ain't all like, painting my face with football paint and with a jersey on don't mean that I'm not engaged. Well, I don't do that, though. I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not a super fan. Like, my girl Nanette, she's a super fan. Like, she's traveled to where they have the Packers games at. What's that called?
Green
Lambeau
Bay,
Field.
Lambeau.
Like, she's a super fan. She's out there at the Eagles games in the snow. That ain't me, but that don't mean I'm not a little bit engaged. So I say this to say, Tom Brady, you talking about having a chip on your shoulder. Like, he was drafted last round, last number. Like, he was basically the last pick. 6th round pick. Nobody wanted Tom Brady.
Yeah, they passed over him 6 times, every team.
And look how, still having that chip on his shoulder, he ain't Mr. Friendly out there being nice to everybody. Still having that chip on his shoulder. If you talk to him, he'll let you know, like, you know, how he feels and what his confidence is. But you won't see him in the tabloids and I'm the best, beating my chest. He shows you with his skills.
Tom Brady talk mad shit.
When asked.
No, not just when asked. Tom Brady, you talking about a football fanatic here.
I'm not talking about on the field to other players.
That's just one aspect where he talks shit. Also, he watches social media. So when people start having them conversations of GOAT and this and this and that, who puts up a picture of himself with 7 rings with his head down? Tom Brady. That's the type of shit he do.
How
Subliminal.
often is that?
Every time somebody start talking GOAT talk. Every time somebody start talking LeBron and MJ. Every time, if you follow him, which you don't.
I don't.
If you follow him, you would see, okay, when they start talking shit, him or somebody must say.
When they start talking.
Okay.
But so he's being provoked. Kanye doesn't need any provocation.
No, he's
doesn't. Out there just say, hey, in case y'all forgot, I'm the best. Like, that's just his thing. So that's all I'm saying.
Because he might sit down in an interview and they might ask him some dumb question. And he might have to hit him with a Roy Jones, like, y'all must have forgot.
Y'all must have forgot. Y'all remember Roy Jones was a rapper? We used to sing that song all the time.
He might have to hit him
y'all
with
must have forgot.
Y'all must have forgot. So I gotta tell y'all, I think his mental state messes with and a lot of people say you crazy and you arrogant. But I don't think he's arrogant. I think he's super, 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 super confident in himself. And I've never seen anything like it.
I think at some points he
has supreme confidence in what he's doing. Even in fashion, beats, like whatever he indulges in, it's supreme confidence.
I don't think it comes off as, to be honest, I'll say, okay, the Tom Brady thing, I wanted to kind of, rub your back a little bit with that to impress you with my football talk.
Okay.
But I will acknowledge it's a different world in the music industry because you can't be as
humble,
appearingly passive as Tom Brady, because at some point they're gonna play you in. When you throw in touchdowns, you don't have to say a lot. Your skills will speak for itself. Where I understand in the music industry, you gotta knock down doors. You can't knock on a door and keep knocking and waiting for them to answer.
Thanks for realizing that.
So I do understand it, but I just wanted to rub your back a little bit with the football talk. But in reference to his perceived arrogance, in all honesty, Kanye is one of them people that. This might sound, to me, I know a lot of times he believes what he says. He's the best. His confidence is like, he's oozing with confidence. But he says a lot of things in jest. Like, he's being funny in a serious way, and people don't get it.
That's the defense mechanism, I think, when he has them fake laughs and he says stuff.
But I mean, he says stuff that's comedic, but he's being honest about it,
right.
Like, and how he's approaching it and how he's answering questions. And people are like caught off guard, and it's like, all right, like, he wasn't being abrasive. He's just, he's letting you know how he feels. He's adding a little levity to it. I think he's funny in some aspects. Mm-hmm. But I do believe, I do believe that, again, your confidence can be perceived as arrogance if you don't have a sprinkle of humility in there. And again, not saying you have to dim your light or shrink yourself to appease others or make others comfortable, but even for yourself, like his mom said, you can be in the sky and feet on the ground at the same time. Mm-hmm. Like, you can feel, like, keep yourself, and I think that's where the imbalance really magnified itself with the loss of his mother, because just her not being there to keep his feet on the ground as much.
Yeah, I think his confidence was through the roof. I've never seen anything like that. And as far as the music, like, 5 classic albums. I think, that shit started getting a little rough towards the end. But, and I don't know what Donda, did you listen to Donda?
I haven't listened to his music. I know you didn't like it. I like 808 and Heartbreak. Whatever it was called. That was his 3rd album, right?
4th.
So I missed a couple. And to be honest, I didn't know he had as many albums as he did.
The first
album,
great.
classic. 2nd album, I liked. I don't know what was in between there, and I liked some of 808 and Heartbreaks or whatever. 808s and Heartbreaks. Yeah. Other than that, I haven't listened to any of his albums. Anything that was, and I don't even listen to the radio, so I can't even say I listen to radio hits.
And I actually think that was not a homage to 808s. I think it was actually something negative towards people who just constantly use 808 beats. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think that was, because all that music, like, he don't do that sound anymore.
Okay.
A Mother's Love. The way his mother loved him in there was just touchy. And, we have issues with our mothers, and we don't have that kind of relationship. It just wasn't in the cards for us. But to see something like that was wholesome, was genuine. Like, she thought of her son as the world, like nothing. Like, she just thought he was everything. The way she used his name every fourth word. Mm-hmm. You're the best, Kanye. You're this, Kanye. You're that, Kanye. Kanye, why don't you have something to eat? Hey, Kanye, what you doing? And, like, just so proud of him. And it was like, damn, you see why he would want to be around her when shit is going awry, because you're going to get that constant feed of love, and it be genuine. Like, she was genuinely happy to see him, no matter what fucking time he came in the morning or when he stopped by, even if he had company. She just, like, whatever she was doing didn't matter, and it was like, okay, Kanye's here, like, my son's here, and it was just wholesome to see. What do you think about that?
One of the things that I appreciated about the love that she showed him, oftentimes you hear about a mother's love as it relates to her son, and people talk about that in the same line of being like a mama's boy. And while he may have had that affection towards his mom, she didn't treat him like a baby. She didn't love on him in a way that would enable him or disable him, or kind of pacify him in a way that would not allow him to grow into the man that, he would become. But it was just that nurturing love that was, like you said, pure and wholesome. The only thing I can think about, and this might sound a little corny, it literally was like watering a tree. Like
it's nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, and
I don't have anything
I'm
to
aware
compare it
of.
to.
Right?
I've never seen anything like that. Like, I'm not saying people's moms don't love them, or my mom never showed me
I just
love.
haven't been
experienced
that
I've never seen anything like that.
Not that it was firsthand. We seen it on TV, but yeah. But that's how I think about it. It literally was like her watering a tree, like, and that's how
every freaking time she saw him,
watered him, and it felt good in a sense that she truly cared about him. And she said something when he was at when he was at the pinnacle of his career that she got a chance to witness before her passing. And someone asked her, like, so are you done being a mom? Are you just being a manager now? And at first I'm thinking, what kind of stupid question is that? Like, she always gonna be his mom.
I can feel your energy in that, like, because a lot of people be like, parenting never stops.
Well, not only
she clearly said, yes, parenting is over for me.
I guess it was the way it was phrased, like, are you done being a mom? And I feel like while the aspect of how you're momming or dadding may change, it threw me off.
Right.
But her answer was like, wow, that was the perfect answer, because she said, yes, I'm done. Like, the parenting part has stopped. I've done my job. And it makes you think, like, that's the perfect, how I would think the perfect explanation is when people always say, oh, a parent is a parent for life. But at some point, your child doesn't need parenting per se. They may need guidance. You're always going to be their parent, but they don't need parenting once they're an adult, because you kind of, again, they may need your guidance when requested. They may need your assistance, your advice, your prayers, through life, but they don't need you to still parent them as an adult, I feel like.
Right.
So I think her answer was like, like, oh, like she kind of checked me.
I can see
in a
how
sense.
you would have a problem with the language because I didn't think about it like that. But from
like,
that
are you done being a mom?
Yeah, because it's like, you know, that's I had him. Like he always.
I'm always gonna be his
son.
mom. Yeah.
So in that aspect, yeah, but she didn't take it like that, and you know, I'm kind of glad she didn't because she gave the answer that she did,
right,
which was like super honest, and she just was like, nah. Like, I'm done. That part of my life is over.
And she was like, I did a good job, I think.
Yeah, like, I mean, look at who he is. Like,
right.
Look at where we at. Like, everybody is here for him. So I think I did a good thing. But it was just wholesome to see something like that. Like I said, I had nothing to compare that to. Even the goddamn Huxtables, Claire didn't even love on Theo and them like that.
I mean, she only and that was like the most wholesome, once a week.
But I'm just saying, over like 6, 8, 10 seasons, however long the show was on, you didn't even see. I mean, she loved them, yeah, we know that, but she didn't love on them like Kanye, like Kanye mom. Like that was just like Jesus Christ. Is being a mama's boy a bad thing?
It can be. It can be based on how you allow your mom to impact your life.
So there's different mama's boys.
Yeah,
there's a bad mama's boy and a good mama's boy.
So I think the connotation of being a mama's boy is automatically negative. So let's just say that. Because it's like, you know, you see those stories
where... Well, that's what I'm asking. Is it a bad thing or no? It's not a bad thing to be a mama's boy.
And in the societal connotation that we use, yes. Because and again, I know our relationships with our parents are different, but having a husband who has a wholesome relationship with his mother, when it's a healthy, non-toxic relationship, can be a beautiful thing, because that's where you learn, you know, how to properly love a woman, how you learn those womanly things if it is a non-toxic relationship. But it has to be a two-way street where your mother knows that once you have a wife, that your wife is your priority. So those kind of things. And I think that's where the signals get crossed with a mama's boy, because it's like they remain like under their mom's bosom, even as an adult, even as a husband. It's like, you can't do that. Like, you have to be your own man. Loving your mom, you know, spending time with her, having admiration for her is all well and good and is a beautiful thing. But your wife has to come first, and your mom shouldn't have this any say so as to what goes on in your household. So I think that's where the negative connotation comes into play with being a mama's boy. That label isn't a good thing.
So yes or no?
I just said isn't a good thing.
I'm just saying, can you just say yes or no and stop being snotty?
You
just looked at the camera and was snotty. Why are you being snotty?
Because I just answered your question. Yes, being a mama's boy is in the way that we look at that term in today's society, it is a bad thing.
Okay, so if I wasn't me and you were single and you met a guy who was kind of a mama's boy, would you think that was a bad thing because he loved his mama and kind of listened to her and took her to church on Sunday and ran everything he did by her because that was just his comfort zone? Still made his own decisions, but was heavily, heavily dependent on his mom's input.
Nah, I'm going to need you to be your own man. Like, I'm going to need you to be able to make a decision without asking your mom. Yeah, I'm going to need you to be able to make a decision without asking your mom, especially if I'm going to be your wife. Like, I'm going to need you to make a decision without asking your mom. So, okay. I mean, yeah,
So when is it a good thing? Like, is that the perfect, like, is that something that you like not fantasize about, but almost can put in a picture, but it's not out there? Not like compared to like the Kanye doc?
Well, so loving your mom, wanting to, take her to church on Sunday, wanting to take her grocery shopping, wanting to have dates with her, that's all well and good, like that part. But it's knowing when to draw that line, when to be able to stand on your own,
right? Make
your own decisions, move about in life, and let your mom know about it afterwards.
Like he is moving on his own. You got your girlfriend you talk to. I talk to my mom.
So once you get a woman in your life, then you need to separate the two. And actually, you need to learn to separate the two before that woman, because you have to be prepared to be
I
that.
agree with you, but I'm just saying, what if that's like his friend? What if that's like, he close to her. He talked to her 4 or 5 times a day. Like, that's
I
his
think that's
mom.
a beautiful
but at
thing.
a certain point in his life, she became his road dog. And this is just who he connects with in that sense. Like, one of them people that be like, yo, I can tell my mom anything. I fucked a girl or whatever. Like, I can tell my mom anything. That kind of relationship.
I think that's a beautiful thing. I don't see anything wrong with that, of having that relationship with your mom where y'all cool, like y'all really are cool. But I think, again, you have to be it's a two-way street. Like, you have to be that man that's not going to rely. Now, if you just not sure about something, or and you're a single man and you're looking to make some really important decisions, and you want to talk to your mom just like you would talk to one of your homies or talk to your dad about, that's all well and good about. But to feel like you got to run every decision by her, or you can't make a move without her, or then that's where I think it becomes a problem. But that's why I say it has to be a two-way street, because your mom needs to know when to cut the cord too and tell you, make a decision without me.
So, is there something to say if you don't have a good relationship with your mom that tells a woman that you don't know how to treat women?
So no, I won't say that. That's not a thing. I think that it takes you. It takes some trials in life to figure that out, because
for everybody,
for a lot of people. Because if you think about this,
I don't want to generalize on the show.
If you we can't speak for everybody. So I mean, we can't speak. Nothing applies to everybody. There are always going to be some different caveats to the situation. But if you think about growing up, like, I'm going to use you as an example. Is that
Don't
okay?
use me.
Okay, so think of a young man who may have grown up not really seeing his mom treated right by men, not really seeing any healthy, wholesome relationships meaning a man and woman, a romantic relationship, not seeing his mother in that kind of situation, or having any examples of that. Where does he learn from? I mean, so I think your household and how you're raised, mother and father, like, I know we're talking about moms, but I think then you kind of have to.
What if you learn from a good woman that you might have met earlier, or a mature woman? What if you have an auntie? Like it doesn't necessarily have to be because I have a bad relationship with my mom, or she didn't teach me the loving things that a mom and son, like that fantasy that we're talking about. That doesn't mean that I'm behind the 8 ball, or I'm going to beat women, or I'm going to be not in tune with women, because I wasn't in tune with, me and my mom wasn't on the same plane. Like,
no, it absolutely doesn't always mean that. But I think that it leaves the son.
There's some women out there that actually believe, like, okay, if him and his mom ain't speaking, or they don't have a good relationship, ain't no way he gonna treat me right.
Right,
and it's like they stand on that.
I don't agree with that, because relationships are circumstantial, so you don't know, unless you know the backstory, you don't know why it is the way it is. Now, if it was a situation where a man was just completely disrespectful to his mother, then that would be a line that I would draw, where I couldn't be with that man.
Right, that's
to be
apples
like
and
that.
Oranges, right? Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's apples and oranges, because you do have some men who act like they may not necessarily treat a woman like that, like a girlfriend or a romantic relationship, but they may treat their mother like that. That wouldn't be acceptable for me. But they might
the
feel like,
disrespectful part to me is, I say apples and oranges, because it's different than you just being disrespectful to your mom for no fucking reason.
Well, no, because y'all have a horrible relationship.
Then just cut it off. Like, you ain't don't stop being around it if you just gonna be disrespectful. Like, that's.
But I think
that's just you wanting to take anger out. Stop going around her if you know in 10 minutes you're going to cuss her the fuck out.
But we know, especially in Black communities, that is not the situation. So many people feel like, and it's kind of like warped thinking, because it's like, oh, that's my mom, I can't just cut him off, I can't just not talk to him. But if it's an unhealthy relationship, you'll still engage and it be a tumultuous relationship. We know there are people that can't, like you.
You're
A
not
lot of
supposed
people
to engage in any toxic relationship, relative or not. Like, it's not good for you and your soul and your peace.
right, but we know that that is like so taboo. Like, you don't speak to your mom. Like, how you cut your mom off? So people will still engage in those relationships, but it's like, oh, every time we cursing each other out. Like, I would not want to be involved with somebody who had that kind of relationship with a parent. But to just be like, okay, we don't have a good relationship, I don't think that should be an automatic red flag or automatic deal breaker, because you have to understand, okay, what are the circumstances that led to that? Unfortunately, we don't get to pick our parents. Parents don't really get to pick their children, and sometimes relationships
You don't.
they
You
just
say you really don't get, like, you really.
well,
You
because
don't get
people
to pick.
always
Now
say,
you do. You can fucking pick them in the tube.
well, because people always say we don't get to pick our parents. Well, your parents might not like you, and they ain't get to pick you. They got stuck with you too.
Yeah.
So I don't think people look at it from the other side. Sometimes parents don't like their kids, and because it's like they're forced to love them, and they could be like, I really don't like your personality. I really don't like you.
Yeah.
But so you kind of get stuck in these relationships where you feel like that requirement to have some semblance of a relationship, and it don't work.
Mm-hmm. I think he had a great relationship with his mom. It was good to see the wholesomeness between them. It was just like, damn, like, I guess that's what it's supposed to look like. I guess that's what his relationship looked like. But you would just think not having that, like, damn, like, that's dope. Did it not make you feel a certain way? Or did you just was looking at the documentary for what it was? Like, did that not, boom, your guitar string, boom, pull a string?
No, I mean, it did. I've become a little more of a stone in my latter years of life, so it didn't pull any heartstrings for me based on my personal life. I mean, probably I guess it's not something that, I don't know. It just didn't. Like, for seeing the relationship, like you said, I just took it for what it was. I watched it for what it was. I didn't really internalize it or, have any feelings of like, damn, like, I wish that was my life.
Yeah, I internalized it, but I didn't think I wished it was my life, but I did internalize it.
I mean, not my life, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I did internalize it, like, damn, like, that's
maybe because
crazy.
It was a mother and son. So maybe that's why it didn't hit me that
crazy.
way.
But, it didn't pull any heartstrings for me, too. I was just wanting to know what your...
Yeah, I didn't. To be honest, when you say that... I
thought it was wholesome, and I thought it was pure. And, again, I had never seen anything like that. And when I tried to think about if I seen something on TV, like, I thought about the Huxtables. And I was like, what family have I seen that was, like, made to be so wholesome? And it was like the Huxtables. But Claire never loved on them like she loved on Kanye.
Florida Evans? Oh, JJ.
Florida? I don't think so. I thought about Family Matters. I thought about all these shows with families.
Yeah.
And was like, thought about the Bernie Mac show, and I'm like, nah, she ain't like them kids.
She was the aunt anyway.
Yeah, she ain't like them kids. But I was just like, I never even seen nothing like that.
Yeah.
And that was real. Like, that was a real life person. Like, it was just crazy.
I think for me, more so, I thought about her personality and just knowing a nurturing person like her.
Probably because she was an educator.
Yeah, and I kind of wish that we had an opportunity to see more of her life outside of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was her life outside of him? That's something that I wish that we had a chance to get some insight into. But yeah, I didn't internalize it.
Her passing, handling death, how?
It's almost like a gift and a curse, being that
from
close.
The perspective we saw of him, and then just from your own.
Yeah, it's like a gift and a curse, being that close to someone and losing them. It's like, when you hear about like married couples
and close, it's like figuratively and literally,
yeah.
like DNA and
but it's like when you
vibe with each other.
When you hear about like married couples being married for, I think there was a story one time a couple was together for like 60 years. and the wife died, or one of them died, and the other one
72 years they was together,
and they died like 14 hours apart.
Yeah.
You talking about heartache? That's like that's really dying from a broken heart. And it makes me think like of Kanye. He's living with a broken heart, and to the point where, you know, I can say I've experienced that broken heart. Of course, like, you know, when you're younger and, you know, you really get heartbroken in relationships. So, well, I don't want to just say younger. I guess, you know, there's some older people out there dealing with heartbreak too. And then I think about like the heartbreak that I have felt, or the only other feeling I can think is like dealing with fertility issues. I always explain it to him like that's the only thing I can say that it feels like is like truly like a real heartbreak. So it makes me think about him, but that's even on a bigger scale, because me like grieving something I never had, but him grieving something that he had in real life that was so
beautiful, yeah,
amazing to him. And we look at this person, and I didn't realize it was 15 years ago. Like, I always look at things in the time of us.
Of where you worked at?
Well, that too. He'd be like, you always talk about, but that's just how I think about things, where I work.
Nope, that didn't happen then, because I was working over there then.
Yeah, I remember where I was working. But this happened during us, and think like, wow, I remember.
Everything happened on us, babe.
I know we've been together forever.
Everything happened on us.
Oh,
everything happened on us.
But I think about.
Give me some more.
Yeah. 15 years ago, and to think like he's still been doing all the things that he's been doing in life, but truly living with a broken heart. And that's why when you talked about the chemical imbalance in his mind, I don't think it was because of the rejection per se. I think that probably may have always been there. And it just evolved. Exactly. It just evolved. Now, I do think his erratic thinking, his erratic speaking is a combination of, one, him not wanting to be rejected, so it's like, I'm going to get everything out, but also that chemical imbalance of having all these thoughts and not being able to calm them. It's like having multiple conversations.
It's being manic is what it is.
Yeah, it's like having multiple conversations and trying to have them all at one time.
Being bipolar, and only thing I can refer to that is Homeland, watching Carrie be bipolar. And when she was manic, she was off the rails and all jittery just like him, and then she would get her medicine and calm down and be able to function. So I'm just saying that's not how everybody is. That's TV.
But she was almost like off the rails, but ultra focused, like on the cases. But
that's how he is. He's off the rails, but to him, he's ultra locked in his thoughts and what he's saying and trying to get it out. But to us, we're thinking, all right, I get that.
But where the hell
did that come from?
Yeah.
All right, I get that. Damn, he went left. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's what you get when you talking to him, and it's like you trying to get what he's saying. You locked in, and he's zoned in. It's coming from left and right and up here and down here and over there, and he's just popping them off.
Again, that's why I say it's like he's having, it's like he's having a conversation, a thought about music, a thought about his family, a thought about fashion, a thought about politics, a thought about being a black man in America. And he starts there on this trail, and then this part jumps in. And then he's like almost at the finish line where he's completing a full thought, but then he says something about this, and you're like, what? Like, well, you was talking about having this collaboration with this designer, but George Bush hates black people. And you like what?
People were like, what the fuck on the remote? Like, what the fuck did he just say?
And it's again,
Taylor Swift shit. Like, even now, his antics, I don't always agree with him. Like, him and DL Hughley are going back and forth at it. And he told DL on Instagram, I can afford to hurt you, and posted his address. Like, that kind of shit to me is a real threat. Like that, I would not play with shit like that. And those kind of antics, I think he's off his rocker, and you shouldn't do shit like that. He did it to Drake. Like, you shouldn't put people's address on social fucking media. So some of his antics and shit I don't agree with, and I think it's his bipolar, not being on his meds, and him being off his rocker. But yeah, he's.
I don't even know where. Yeah, I think it's one of them things. Like, once he gets started, he can't stop until he either
Pete Davidson
has
like going back and forth.
That's different though. So this, well, we'll talk about that when we get to beefs. But yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like once he gets started, he can't stop until he decides he's gonna stop. Nobody can stop him, and I think the only person that could have is no longer here, and that was Donda West.
Is he on the spectrum? For the sake of arguing, is not saying he's autistic, because like you said, that's been oversaturated. But the spectrum of Asperger's, autism, I forget the other one, where you're like a savant, like Rain Man. But is he on that spectrum of, I don't want to say not normal, but
the autistic spectrum?
Yeah.
You know what? I think, just thinking about to his earlier days when they would show him just looking like, you know, a teenage a college boy, whatever. It's possible he may have been in some aspects. Like you mentioned earlier, one thing that I think people forget is Kanye he from the hood, but he ain't hood, so he don't have that same that oomph that you know a Jay-Z has.
His vernacular either.
Right, but so I think
even when he talks, he's
but
vulnerable.
His whole mannerisms and stuff from that time frame, you know, when he had the situation with the guy and like they called each other and he pulled up on him, like, you had beef with somebody, y'all meeting up in the parking lot, you thinking, all right, it's about to be a fight, but he wanted to like express how his feelings was hurt, and you know, he ended up giving a guy a hug. So I don't think necessarily he was on the spectrum. I think his socialization,
he was talking all gangster, like he was a gangster, or like, I'm gonna hurt you, and he had that body language and vernacular. But what was coming out was, you know, I ain't from the hood and I ain't never killed nobody, and what, y'all gonna hold that shit against me for that?
Right.
And it's like your body language and vernacular and the way you talk, and somebody far away would think, damn, he cussing the boy out. But his language, what he's saying is,
right,
dude, I ain't from the hood, I ain't never killed nobody, like, why y'all holding that shit against me?
So that's what I mean. I think his socialization skills are just different than what we expect from hip-hop artists, but I don't think necessarily that he's on the spectrum. I think he is a musical genius, where he's one of those people that literally has that genius where it's almost like how I have heard R. Kelly being described. Like, I think R. Kelly's a little bit illiterate. Like, I heard he can't read that good, probably can't spell that good, his speech isn't that good, but when it comes to music, he's like a musical genius. So Kanye being more educated, but I think it's in that same vein.
And what's the thing he put out? What's it
called? What's
it called?
I can't. STEM player.
Like STEM player, like that. It tells you, like, you can listen to the song, you can listen to the lyrics a cappella, you can just listen to the drums, you can just listen to the bridges.
He has like segmented out the components of the music.
Like, who hears music like that though?
But
except a person like him. Like, because if you like a song, if you like Mary J. Blige, My Life, why the fuck would you want to just hear
the beats?
Like the drums to it.
But see, it's almost like from the mind of a musicality perspective. I would think something like that is more interesting to like producers and beat makers and stuff like that. I think the regular everyday person, we're gonna want to hear the song how they play it on the radio. Like, nobody's trying to segment to hear the underlayers of, because you know, if you ever see how
the pitch, like if this was right, if that drum was off.
Right. If you ever hear how a beat was made, it kind of starts like doom, doom, doom. Now at the end you got boom chicka boom 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 chicka boom boom boom. But it's like, who wants to hear the doom, doom? Who really wants to hear that unless
and they sit there and be like,
yeah, like, oh, they could hear this whole masterpiece from just from a 4-note.
Or what I would do with that, man? It's like, yeah, this was through the wire.
Yeah.
But it's like boom. Boom.
So to your question is, I don't think he's on the spectrum. I think that he has some psychological diagnosed. Well, I don't know if he's been diagnosed, but he has some
Bipolar.
psychological issues. And even the bipolar, I don't see how that manifests itself, but who am I to judge? It's almost like he's schizophrenic in some aspects, but I'm no...
Or borderline personality disorder.
But I think
seems like he can be calm, especially when it comes to like if he's around his kids or something like that, or people that love him like Dave Chappelle and the Roots and shit. Like he can be calm and collected, but when he get out in public, like what he did I think it was yesterday. He just walked outside and leaned on a pole, just leaned there and just had like a mean face, and then this whole fucking crowd of people in like 20 minutes was just standing next to him taking pictures.
Well, see, that's what I mean.
Leaning,
like
grabbing his arm, and he just was like not even looking at him. Like he had his arm, and people was just hooking his arm and taking pictures and kneeling down, and he just was doing this.
So think about this, right? Think about this. Growing up, right? You see a man or a woman downtown, and she talk, or on a bus or something, and she like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna go and get this burger. And you know, them people tried to blackmail me. And yeah, you know, when I drop my kids off at school, you're going to think this person is schizophrenic. Mm-hmm. And that's how he talks. So that's what I'm saying. And again, I'm not saying, no, he's not bipolar. I ain't no medical professional. But it to me, that's how it feels. Like it's coming across as schizophrenic, where it's like you trying to catch the conversation. And even that, same scenario. You downtown and you see a man walking down the street, or you see somebody just come out and they just lean on a pole.
They say he wasn't walking. He just leaned on the pole and hooked his arm out like this with his hand was hit and stood there for like 15 minutes. And
to
like
me,
a statue.
It's like...
And people was like walking up and looking at him like, is it okay to touch him? Then they start hooking his arm, taking
Are you
pictures.
serious?
And he just was like, stood there like.
So again, to me, that doesn't give
burning off some energy
bipolarism.
Or
it gives me like he's being schizo. Like, what are you doing?
Did you tell somebody that you was with, watch this when I go the fuck outside. I bet
watch all these people come take pictures with me.
Yeah, and
watch
I ain't gonna
how much
say
they
shit.
love
I'm
me.
just gonna stand there.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Is he one of the best to ever do it?
I haven't listened to enough of his music to really say that. I will say, in watching this,
go ahead.
I will say lyrically, yes. And I know, and I've told you before when we talked about, you know, our favorite rap artists and stuff. Mine aren't the conventional people that everybody else would say, but Kanye, you know, I like Kanye, just like Lil Wayne, and is one of my favorites too. But I will say lyrically, after watching this, yes.
Top 5 ever.
Top 5 ever rappers?
No, basketball players.
Well,
Jesus fucking Christ, huh?
You threw me with that, like top
Jesus
5
fucking
ever.
Christ.
I told you I don't like when you say that.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Top 5. So Jay-Z, you know, Lil Wayne, Beanie Siegel, Kanye, and then I would say Biggie.
Mine would be J, Big, Pac, Wayne, Kanye.
Okay. You know, I like my Beanie Siegel.
2 alternates would be Beanie Siegel and Scarface.
Okay.
What's your beef?
My beef is this, and this kind of ties into the DL Hughley situation. No, I don't believe that Kanye was appropriate in releasing any personal details or making any threats towards that man's family. I will say this, people need to mind their business. Like, DL should have never gave an opinion, and I think that's part of the problem. We have the freedom of speech, but like we have said, and so many other people have said, you're not free from the consequences of it. Kanye's antics towards his ex-wife, his family matters and things like that shouldn't be aired. I feel conflicted about that as well, because while we can say they shouldn't be aired on social media, yet we know his ex-wife has this, you know, quadrillion-dollar TV show that they have. So it's like, you don't want to air it on social media because you want to save it for TV. Gotcha. But whatever.
Also, a $500 million, I heard, TikTok account. Go ahead.
So yeah, so it's like, okay, you want him to save the antics. Don't talk about this because we're going to show it on the show and we don't want to give people a free preview. So you can't say you don't want your family business aired on social media when it's plastered all over TV for however many years. And I'm not no Kardashian hater. I know some people are. That ain't me. I don't feel like that. But I will say back to DL. Some people just need to not comment on things. Like I've seen Kanye say in certain situations like, oh, I got all these famous friends and nobody's taking up for me or nobody's speaking up. And there's been a few people here and there. But I think when it comes especially to family situations, like this is triggered by his whole familial dynamics between his ex-wife, his kids, whether he can see and whether he can't. Nobody, especially another man, mind your business. No, I don't care what an interviewer asks you. I don't have no comment. Or if you want to say, I'm gonna pray for him and his family. Whether that means pray for them to be together, pray for them to be healthy separately. Mind your business. Don't inject yourself into other people's drama, into other people's situation, because then you trigger this person, you provoke them. And I'm not saying that he should post this man's personal business, but if he punched you in the face, you should have mind your business. You shouldn't have commented on his family business or what he has going on. That's my beef. Mind your business.
I'm all about men minding their own fucking business. My beef is Tamil Esco. And Tamil Esco is a New York dude who beat an Asian woman for no reason, walked up to her, knocked her down, and punched her 125 times. And stomped on her 7 times, and then spit on her as he walked away with racial slurs, calling her an Asian bitch. Now, it's just, it's that, when you get to jail, because you was locked up, but when you get to jail, keep that same type of energy, because people gonna know what you did, and that type of shit, beating on women like that shit had me watching that video like with a little bit of tears in my eyes. I hate to see women in distress. And this was a 67-year-old Asian woman. So I just hate to see women in any kind of distress, crying, hurts. Definitely don't want to see a 6-minute video of a woman being punched 125 times and stomped on 7 times. So, Tamil Esco, when you get to where you're going to get what you deserve.
That's horrible. Prayers for that lady, regardless of her nationality, any woman, any person being beat on, but especially a woman, a stranger for no reason. Prayers to her family. I hope she recovers. She'll never mentally recover, but hopefully physically she'll recover.
3 grams. Lyft will be joining Uber and adding a surcharge for gas prices.
Why wouldn't they? I mean,
it's a business, right?
It's a business. Gas is going up. We talked about this last week. Everything is going to go up.
Our cars don't ride on water.
Yeah. You know what, though? I want a Tesla. Or in some kind of electric car.
Probably was, going to be my next car. But yeah.
Yeah,
I feel sense,
like people with electric cars, we're winning right now.
They had a meme up. There was a dude at the table eating a bunch of pancakes and breakfast real fast, like having a ball eating, and it was like, this is Tesla drivers while gas prices.
Yeah, I just feel like, wow, electric cars. They've been preaching this all these years, and here we go.
But it makes sense for Uber and Lyft to be
absolutely
adding a surcharge. What that surcharge is, I don't know. I don't know if they do a flat rate of $10 or $5 or just the amount to cover the gas.
Right, or it may just be
if they make like a price where it's like we're covering the gas and making something on it, then I could see people in an uproar. But if you're making me pay for the extra gas, fine. But if you're trying to make me pay the $4 for the extra gas and you make 2 on it, so now it's $6? Right. No.
It may just be a thing, like, I don't know how their prices are structured. Like, if they charge you $2.90 per mile for, I'm just completely making this up. If it's $2.90, and
now, it's
now it might be $3.90 because gas has gone up. And they have, I don't know how those drivers and stuff get paid. But I'm not surprised to hear that at all. Not even a little bit. I wouldn't even be an Uber driver right now with gas prices if I didn't start getting paid more. They got an
account, and when they get a ride, the money goes into the account, and the cut comes off the top.
Yeah, I think you get a
cut.
percent of whatever that ride
goes
is.
into your account, and then the percent gets to Uber or Lyft or whoever you drive.
But what I'm saying is, okay, if you are in any job that is driving where you're responsible. Now, I'm not talking about just normal everyday commute. I do think that jobs are going. Jobs have a cost of living increase in wages. Hopefully, everybody's job does. But I think if so I'm not talking about that. But if you work in a job where you are a driver, it should.
Yeah.
I mean, how you can't keep making them put gas in their car and not paying them more.
You gonna like this, Graham? The Sunshine Protection Act.
I heard about this. Where do I sign it? I want to sign a petition.
The U.S. Senate unanimously voted yes to not to always have daylight savings time, to not roll the clocks back.
I don't understand. Did y'all know there are some places that already don't participate? I think Hawaii.
A lot of places don't.
I mean, I don't want to just say places. There are some states in the U.S.
They waiting on Sleepy Joe to
wake up.
His desk. They waiting on him to sign it, but the whole U.S. Senate said yeah. And I didn't know that when daylight savings time happened, car accidents, heart attacks, and strokes go up.
When daylight saving time happens?
Yeah, when people lose the hour,
right.
They have more car accidents because they're asleep or
like the first week.
Yeah, or rushing or whatever the fuck they're doing, but they can't. They're trying to grasp the hour and they're off, whether they're sleepy or I'm in a rush. Like car accidents go up, strokes and heart attacks. So heart attacks, I guess, and strokes is because of the stress of it.
Yeah, sounds like it. I didn't know that either. But I'm telling you, and maybe it's a thing with age, because when you think about strokes or heart attacks, not saying young people don't have them, but it's more prevalent in older people. I feel like maybe this is just me getting older. I'm 41 this year. This is the first year, like I said, where I felt like, like I'm so happy to see the sunshine, but that hour, like it kind of has been having a lingering effect on me.
I'll tell you what they used to tell me back in the day when I was a little boy. Walk that shit off. Shake that shit off. You better not. You better suck it up.
Who was they that used to tell you?
The lady.
Yeah.
I used to go to the lady since I was a little boy. Last gram. Listen to this very carefully. We'll have some fun with this one. Woman holding a baby. Man with a broken leg on crutches. Old man with the cane. Pregnant woman. One chair. Who deserves the seat?
Woman holding a baby. Man with a broken leg.
On crutches. Old man with the cane. Pregnant woman. One chair. Who deserves the seat?
I am going to say, wow, that's a great question. I'm gonna say probably the pregnant woman. She's responsible for bringing the new life into this world. We want to protect her, protect the baby, make sure she's okay. I mean, when you say pregnant, I'm assuming, she's big and pregnant. Yeah, you want to make sure she's okay, she's protected. The old man, he's on his way out of here anyway.
He's on his way out of here. You don't want to protect your elderly?
I mean, you do, but
my God.
I don't want to protect the baby over the elderly.
What about the broken leg man? He on fucking pain. He's on crutches.
He got crutches. He can lean on his crutches.
And what about the woman holding a baby?
Well, she's holding the baby. Like, if the baby gets...
What if she's tired? She needs to sit down. What if she can drop him from up that high?
I mean, strap him on real tight. You got to pick one. I'm picking the pregnant lady. Who are you picking?
I would probably pick... It would be between the woman holding the baby or the pregnant lady. So I'm going to say the pregnant lady too.
Why?
Because I wouldn't want her to fall and hurt a bump.
You gotta preserve new life.
Yeah, I wouldn't want her to
keep the world going.
It would be like, that baby don't know nothing. She shouldn't have no. Yeah, the pregnant woman.
Yeah, I think so.
Act 2, the podcast, episode 62, wrapping up. You can catch us, these faces, International Walk, co-hostess with the mostest. You can catch us on, let's try to do this. I'm gonna do 5, you do 5, because it's 10. You can catch us on act2thepodcast.com. You can catch us on Spotify. You can catch us on YouTube. You can catch us on Facebook. You can catch us on Instagram.
You can catch us on Breaker. You can catch us on TikTok. You can catch us on Radio Public. You can catch us on Google Podcasts. And you can catch us on Breaker.
Anchor. You did Breaker 1 and 5.
Anchor Breaker.
Act 2 the podcast, episode 62. Like, share, engage, all that good stuff. We appreciate y'all. We just love coming here, talking to y'all, doing our thing. And if you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, God damn it, you should. Peace.